don't think it's running now.
016, Cruella de Vil. Number 100, Rosa Baldoza. Number 121, Nana Surf.
It's not doing what I want it to do.
Number 13,
Diva. Number 17, Jawbreaker. Number 212, Cyclops. Number 23, Banshee. Number 309, Cherry Bomb. Number 455, Skatysaurus Rex. Number 7, Crash Kitty. Number 716, Mimi Mayhem. Number 8, Mad Hatter. And number 985, Demolition. On the bench tonight for Southside Revolution B is Freddy Bruiser.
And playing for your Rotten Apples tonight, 102 Pearl Jam, 109 Crimson Dynamite, 13 Is He Dead? 42 Blitz, 43 Stingray, 504 Slam Solo, 37 Tinkle Toad, 72 Sweet Tea, 801 Scream Stress, 99 Loco Coco, and 77 Sea Monster. Bench staff for the Rotten Apples, Kamikaze K, and Terminate Her.
Introducing our skating officials tonight. Our outside pack refs for tonight, Duchess of Death, Rolando Furioso, and Shenanigans. Tonight's jam refs, Faffin' About and Flaya. Your inside pack ref, Ohm's Lawbringer, and your head ref for tonight is Intervener.
And your non-skating officials tonight, your head NSO is Batty and Hunky Dorky. Jam timer is Time Bandit. Your penalty lineup trackers are Panic Attack and Pussycat. Scoreboard operator, Spacey Stacy. Your score keepers are Left on Red and V-Rex. Penalty box manager is Hot Flash, and your penalty box timers are Banshee and Pinky and the Pain. Jamming first for the Rotten Apples is 7-2 Sweet Tea, and jamming for Southside Revolution is 100 Rosa Bulldoza. Southside has lead, and they call off the jam. 1 point for the Apples, no points for Southside.
Jamming for the Rotten Apples, Slam Solo, and Skatysaurus Rex for Southside. Skatysaurus up the inside. We got Slam Solo at the back of the pack, stuck in a wall. Southside Revolution holding tight. But it is Slam Solo. No, not quite yet. A great block by Killer Diva puts Slam at the back of the pack. Slam's working up the inside, and Skatysaurus Rex is your lead jammer. Chased hard by Slam Solo. Both jammers skate out the outside, and Skatysaurus Rex calls off the jam.
Thieves of Destruction. You enjoy. As we tell you more about them tonight, consider if you too would like to help us keep rolling through 2026. Contact us at eodsponsorship@gmail.com. Jamming for the Rotten Apples is 7-2 Sweet Tea, her second time on the track. And second time as well jamming is 100 Rosa Bulldozer. And Sweet Tea has gotten lead. 100 is heading to the box for a forearm. Power jam for the Rotten Apples. Sweet Tea gets knocked out and has made her way back through the middle of the pack. Some strong anchoring happening. And she's having to draw back. One zero zero is out of the box, and the jam is called. Parkway Physiotherapy and Performance Center is a place where personalized care meets specialized treatments, and where patients are empowered to take control of their health and well-being.
Jamming for the Rotten Apples is Stingray. Up against Banshee. Both jammers fighting against the perspective walls, but Banshee is through, and Banshee takes lead for Southside Revolution. Stingray hot in their tail. Banshee skates a little wild, coming out of the turn, coming back to the pack, swings on the outside, passes everybody, and calls off the jam.
The Zone at 91.3 is our exclusive radio partner playing today's modern rock. The Zone is live on the airwaves from right here in Victoria. Jamming for the Rotten Apples is 0504 Slam Solo. And jamming for Southside is 455 Skatysaurus Rex. Second time we've seen both of these two jamming. And Slam Solo gets lead. Skatysaurus is fighting her way through the pack as Slam comes around behind, re-entering the engagement zone. And Slam's out again, collecting 4 points. Skatysaurus is coming into the engagement zone at turn 2. Both jammers are fighting their way through the pack. Skatysaurus is being held back by a strong tripod, and the jam is called. Both teams collect 4 points.
In a world filled with mass-produced stuff, connect with what you consume with Driftwood Brewery. Visit their bar and patio nearby on Viewfield Road or on site here tonight. Is Driftwood here? They are in our beer garden. Fantastic. We've got Blitz skating for the Rotten Apple up against Rosa Bulldozer. Blitz takes lead jammer. Bulldozer stuck in the pack, getting knocked in, squeaks around the inside, and completes their initial pass. Meanwhile, Blitz up at the front makes their first scoring pass and calls off the jam.
Our amazing crew of dedicated officials is one of the Eves of Destruction's biggest assets. From non-skating officials to on-skate officials, they make it possible for us all to enjoy this sport that we love so much. Speak to any official or EOD member to find out how you too could be a part of this amazing crew. And Slam Solo is jamming again for the Rotten Apples, up against Banshee for Southside. Both jammers are in the, and Banshee squeaks by on the inside with Slam right hot on their tail. Both jammers are back in the engagement zone. And Banshee gets through, scoring 3 points. Slam is making his way through. Jammers are neck and neck, and both are out of the pack, both scoring 4 points. Jam is called.
Empire Donuts, a whole lot of love. All donuts are made by hand from scratch with quality ingredients, and I really suggest you try the Earl Grey.
Oh, I do like the Earl Grey.
Yep. Okay. We have Sweet Tea up against Skatysaurus Rex. This is the first time these two jammers are facing each other, and up the inside, it is Sweet Tea for your lead jammer. Going around the outside, Skatysaurus Rex completes their initial pass. Meanwhile, Sweet Tea slams into the pack. Comes out of the pack and has to steep for a while in the penalty box.
Ooh, this is going to be a 2-minute jam.
Meanwhile, Skatysaurus Rex comes out, completes their first scoring pass, picks up 4 points. It is a power jam for Southside Revolution. Skatysaurus passes on the outside, collects another 4 points. Both blockers are preparing for another pass. Skatysaurus gets knocked up the outside. Sweet Tea's back on track. Trying the inside, but gets recycled to the back of the pack. Both jammers up against their respective walls, fighting to get through. Sweet Tea having a little more success, but gets a wicked block thanks to Southside. Both jammers absolutely completely mired. Not a bit of movement. The pack has been almost stationary, but Skatysaurus Rex is through. Lead change. Wow, the points are flipping back and forth so fast. We have had 2 lead changes in this one single jam.
Looks like the Rotten Apples are calling an official review. Parkway Physiotherapy and Performance Center is a place where personalized care meets specialized treatments and where patients are empowered to take control of their health and well-being.
Southside Revolution has taken the lead just by a single point. Both teams are running neck and neck.
Well, we're waiting for the official review. What do you think the official review might be about?
We'd like to thank our track repair for keeping the track safe.
So the Rotten Apples are asking for a cut call to be rescinded. And did they? The-
Check. Hello. Apple's requested to have the cut rescinded on their jammer in the last jam. Based on observations from the OPRs, the call will stand, and Apples do not retain their official review.
Thank you, Wiener. Jamming this time around is for Southside is 100, Rosa Bulldoza, and for the Rotten Apples is 43 Stingray. Both jammers have entered the engagement zone and are fighting their way through the middle of the pack. And as we come around turn 2, they're both still making their way. And Rosa was recycled back. Meanwhile, Stingray got lead. Stingray comes through the inside, scored 4 points, and called the jam.
Hey, where are our 50-50 folk at?
Oh, I think it's
There
that pink
they are. We
side.
got our 50-50 folk over there. Get your 50-50 tickets. The draw will be made during the halftime of the final game today, and you could leave richer than you arrived. Slam solo up against. It's Mimi Mayhem up against Slam Solo. It is the first time jamming for Mimi Mayhem, and chasing Slam Solo, who's got lead for the Rotten Apples. The two jammers are neck and neck on track. Both entering the pack. Hitting their respective opposing blockers. Both break through, and it's an even dead heat as both jammers score 4 points. Coming in the pack once again. Mimi to the outside, Slam to the inside. Slam stuck at the back of the pack, but Mimi is recycled all the way to the back, whereas Slam Solo is free up front and gets another 4 points. Meanwhile, there is mayhem going on in the pack, thanks to Mimi. Slams up in the pack once again. Gets recycled to the back of the pack, and there is a mean hit up at the front. Mimi Mayhem's down, also recycled to the back. Mimi's through. Gets another scoring pass. Slam Solo enters the pack once again. Also knocked to the back. Both jammers fighting their way through. And Mimi picks up only 3 points with the single no pass, no penalty. And Slam is having a sit down. I believe he cut the track, did he not? So it's a power jam for Southside Revolution, but it'll be a short one. Although Slam's going to have to sit the start of the next jam in the box, so the next jam will start as a power jam for Southside Revolution.
Heart and Hands, your friendly neighborhood community acupuncture and holistic health collective in the heart of Quadra Village. Jamming for Southside is 455 Scatosaurus Rex. And up on the inside, she has gotten past 2 of the rotten apples. And now she has lead. Slam Solo enters the engagement zone, as does Scatosaurus Rex, and straight up on the inside, scoring 4 points. Slam has completed their initial pass, and the jam is called.
Want to give a shout out to the Zone at 91.3. They are our exclusive radio partner, Modern Rock, right here in Victoria, actually right down the street, broadcasting live from your local Quadra neighborhood. It's Blitz up against Rosa Bulldoza. Blitz working up the outside, gets recycled in the back of the pack, and this time it is Rosa between the two of them that gets lead jammer. Blitz hot in their heels. Rosa comes up against the Rotten Apples walls, shakes it to the core as they come up the inside and complete their first scoring pass. Blitz still mired in the pack, comes up against the front wall, gets taken down, and takes down the Southside Jammer as they go down. Southside Jammer calls off the jam, says, had enough of that.
Drop into Influence Board Shop for Victoria's best selection of skateboards and gear. Jamming for Southside is Scatosaurus Rex, and jamming for the Apples is Sweet Tea. We have an official timeout.
They were both running the jam. Slam was running the jam pretty long. Slam has the highest score in one, too. So that jam won.
Okay, that's fantastic. But at 22, that's almost a third of the entire score in a single jam.
Amazing, hey? Good work.
Guessing who's in the running for
I mean, we'll see, like, overall. If it's
overall, yes.
But 22 is a good lead.
Literally is the difference between leading and not.
There were penalties and stuff like that. Who's that one with 3 of them? 716. So the same person was up. Wow. Set up at 716, Mimi Mayhem. Yeah, because only jammed once, but has a third of the team's points with 22 points. And also has 3 penalties.
And that whistle signals the end of the officials' timeout. And Sweet Tea goes on the inside and on the outside. And Sweet Tea gets lead with Scatosaurus Rex hot on her heels. Sweet Tea engages in the engagement zone, calls off the jam, scoring 4 points.
And a big EOD thank you to our tireless photographers. We all look forward to revisiting today's greatest hits today through your work. Once again, it's Blitz jamming for the Rotten Apples up against Banshee. Blitz screams off the line, but it is Banshee who comes through and takes the lead. Banshee lead jammer for Southside Revolution. Meanwhile, Blitz clears their initial pass. Banshee's through for their first scoring pass, and Blitz just blitzes their way through the pack. Banshee makes another scoring pass and calls off the jam. I believe is that an 8 and 4?
Cloverdale Paint has helped keep our track going for over 13 years. Check out their newly opened store in Souk. Jamming for the Rotten Apples this time is Slam Solo. And they are up against 455 Scatosaurus Rex. Scatosaurus Rex makes their way through the middle of the pack and gains lead. Slam Solo has made their initial pass. Scatosaurus Rex is in the engagement zone and calls off the jam.
And after a few hits like that, gonna head on over to Parkway Physiotherapy and Performance Center, a place where personalized care meets specialized treatments and where patients are empowered to take control of their health and well-being.
We have another official timeout. Looks like it's for track repair.
A little bit of music. Thank you, Ada. I am not finding this at all. It's raining about half a minute behind.
Oh, the YouTube feed? Yeah, it's got to bounce off of Saturn, I guess.
That signals the end of the official timeout.
And it looks like we got Rosa Bulldoza up against Sweet Tea. Rosa races right up the inside, snatches lead right away. Sweet Tea, hot on their heels. Rosa coming into the back of the pack. Calls it off after being waylaid by a 2-wall by the Rotten Apples.
The zone at 1013 is our exclusive radio partner. Playing today's modern rock, The Zone is live on the airwaves from right here in Victoria. Jamming for the Rotten Apples is Slam Solo. Jamming for Southside is Scatosaurus Rex. And both jammers are still at the back of the pack. Slam has gone on the inside, working his way to the front of the pack. And looks like Scatosaurus Rex is heading to the box for a forearm. Slams has lead. And Slam is entering the engagement zone, coming right up the middle, spins around and gets out of the pack, scoring 4 points. Slam on the inside. And he's through the pack, gaining another 4 points. Meanwhile, Scatosaurus is being held back of the pack by Coco Loco. Slam makes it on, sneaks by on the inside of the track, scoring another 4 points. Scatosaurus Rex has made their initial point pass, and Slam calls off the jam.
Want to give a shout out to the folks at St. John Ambulance, helping keeping us safe. We love having them here. We hope they spend the whole night just sitting back and drinking coffee and enjoying the show. And we have a lead change. Rotten Apples are back in the lead. Sweet Tea up against Rosa Bulldoza. And Rosa all the way to the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Sweet Tea has taken lead for the Rotten Apples. Rosa makes their initial pass, but it is Sweet Tea who calls off the jam.
In a world filled with mass-produced stuff, connect with what you consume with Driftwood Brewery. Visit their bar and patio nearby on Viewfield Road, or on site here tonight. Jamming for the Rotten Apples is Blitz. And jamming for Revolution is Scatosaurus Rex. Blitz has gotten lead. Scatosaurus Rex has made their initial pass. Blitz is in the engagement zone and sneaks by on the inside of the track, scoring 4 points, calls off the jam.
In a world filled with mass-produced stuff, connect with what you consume with Driftwood Brewery. Visit them at their bar and patio nearby on Viewfield Road, or just head on over to my left here and grab yourself some Driftwood Brewery. And once again, it is Sweet Tea up against Rosa Bulldoza. Rosa takes the lead, whereas Sweet Tea mired in the pack, and recycled all the way back to the jammer line, right where they started from. Rosa, meantime, makes their first scoring pass. Sweet Tea, almost through turn one. Breaks through and makes their initial pass, but is denied as Rosa calls off the jam.
Hotel Z rebels against the ordinary, combining a retro aesthetic with modern comfort. Hotel Z is the antidote to a boring travel. We have an official timeout. We have a tie game.
Have some questions about that. 14 points and someone was 86 or 85. You can't see that.
End of official timeout. Skating for the Apples is Blitz, and skating for Revolution is Banshee. Both jammers at the back of the pack, and Banshee makes it through, getting lead. Blitz coming around, made their initial pass. Banshee is in the engagement zone. Blitz is now in the engagement zone, and the jam is called. 4 points for the Rotten Apples, 0 points for Revolution.
Have you all tried Empire Donuts yet? I mean, really, they're right over there to the left. They're right by the blue sign. Grab yourself a donut. It is a fantastic experience, gotta say. Up in the line, we've got Slam Solo up against Skatysaurus Rex. Skaty's working through the middle of the pack, squeezing through the inside, just pushing that front wall, breaks through and takes lead jammer for Southside Revolution. Slam working the front wall, gets waylaid, a hard hit by the front wall of Southside Revolution. Knocked out of the track, recycled to the back of the pack. Comes up the inside again and completes their initial pass. In the meantime, Skaty, working on their scoring pass, is through and calls off the jam.
Do you see a pink sign? That's your 50-50 tickets. Get your tickets now. The draw will be happening during halftime of the second game. You could be richer than you arrived. Jamming for the Rotten Apples is Sweet Tea. Jamming for Revolution is Rosa Bulldoza.
Those two have been head-to-head for jam after jam.
They really have. They're very well matched.
Yes, they are.
And Sweet Tea is out of the pack and gains lead. Rosa Bulldoza has made their initial pass. Sweet Tea is out of the pack and gained 4 points for the Apples. Both jammers are back in the engagement zone. Sweet Tea makes it through the pack again, scoring another 4 points. Rosa is stuck in the middle of the pack and being recycled back. Sweet Tea makes it through the pack again, scoring another 4 points. Rosa Bulldoza makes it through, also scoring 4 points. Sweet Tea is back in the engagement zone, makes it through on the inside, calls off the jam, gaining another 4 points.
Hearts and Hands, your friendly neighborhood community acupuncture and holistic health collective, right here in the heart of Quadra Village. And it is Slam Solo up against Mimi Mayhem. This is Mimi's second time as jammer. Both jammers hitting their respective walls. Slam's working both the inside and the outside, gets knocked to the back of the pack. Mimi, in the meantime, is through with a cut and does not take lead, which leaves lead to Slam Solo. Slam Solo, your lead jammer for the Rotten Apples. Slam works their way to the pack, picks up 4 points. The pack sets up as Slam is working the power jam. Some quick footwork around the inside of the apex, and Slam picks up another 4 points. Meantime, Mimi, back out of the penalty box, just skates through and picks up 4 points. No, it is their initial pass.
Parkway Physiotherapy and Performance Center is a place where personalized care meets specialized treatments and where patients are empowered to take control of their health and well-being. Jamming for the Rotten Apples is Blitz. Jamming for Revolution is Scatosaurus Rex. Both jammers at the back of the pack. Scatosaurus Rex is being held back by the tripod, and Blitz gets lead. Scatosaurus makes it out of the pack for their initial pass. Blitz makes it through the pack, gaining 3 points. Scatosaurus Rex back in the back of the pack. Coming up against a very strong wall. Scatosaurus is still at the back of the pack, being held up by Izzy Dead, Coco Loco, and the jam is called.
Down the end of Quadra Street, up near Mackenzie, Influence Board Shop. And we have Rosa Bulldoza skating up against Slam Solo.
These two are even for how many times they get beat against each other. 3 and 3.
These two jammers have faced each other 3 times before in tonight's bout. Rose is taking the lead, whereas Slam has been recycled to the back of the pack. The two meet up, and Rosa takes their 4 points. Slam clears the pack, hot on the heels of the Southside Revolution jammer. Rosa tries working the outside, gets knocked out, and calls off the jam.
Cloverdale Paint has helped us keep our track going for over 13 years. Check out their newly opened store in Souk. Jamming for the Rotten Apples is Crimson Dynamite. I believe this is the first time that they've taken the jammer position. And they are going up against Scatosaurus Rex. Both jammers trying on the inside. Pack is starting to spread out a bit. Scatosaurus Rex is stuck at the back of the pack. And Crimson Dynamite gets lead. Scatosaurus sneaks up through on the inside and has their initial pass. Crimson Dynamite working her way through the pack. And makes it through, gaining 4 points. Scatosaurus Rex is still being held at the back of the pack by Sweet Tea and Stingray. As Crimson Dynamite makes it through again, scoring another 4 points. Crimson is back at the engagement zone. Scatosaurus Rex is now at the front of the pack, and Crimson Dynamite makes it her way through the pack again, scoring yet another 4 points. Scatosaurus Rex is still working hard up against a very tough wall. Crimson Dynamite at the front of the pack again, gets knocked out and recycled back. Scatosaurus Rex is still at the back of the pack. And it looks like we're going to have a 2-minute jam. Crimson Dynamite is heading to the box for a cut. Scatosaurus is being recycled back by Sweet Tea. And the jam naturally ends.
Yeah, join us right back here at the Victoria Curtain Club on July 4th when the Hardcores showcase their newest skaters, and stick around while the Bells of the Brawl and the Daisy Pushers compete for a spot at the Calamity Cup. Early bird tickets, half price, are on sale now. And it looks like we have the classic jammer lineup here of Rosa Bulldoza versus Sweet Tea. I can't count how many of those times have faced each other off tonight. 6 times. They've been up against each other 6 times tonight. Both jammers being held to the line, but it is Rosa up to the inside. Sweet Tea following hot on their heels. We have both jammers out of the pack, but it is Rosa Bulldoza that takes lead jammer for Southside Revolution. Both jammers come screaming into the pack. Sweet Tea following Rosa, but Rosa calls off the jam.
If you were paying attention and saw Rolando eating some yummy looking hot dogs, there's a roller derby fundraiser outside. Hot dog sale. Hot dogs are $3 each. Their drinks are $3, and there are also cupcakes, also for $3. Jamming for the Rotten Apples is Slam Solo. Jamming for Revolution is Banshee. Both jammers are being recycled back, fighting their way through the pack, and on the inside, Slam sneaks by, gaining lead. Banshee still trying to make her way through the pack. Being knocked down twice by Pearl. Slam is at the back of the pack, trying to make their way through. And Banshee makes it through for their initial pass. Slam is heading to the back to the box for a back block. This is a power jam and will be a 2-minute jam. Banshee is fighting her way through and makes it through, scoring 4 points. Banshee is back in the engagement zone. Her teammates are trying to help her out. She's at the front of the pack now. Slam is now at the back of the pack. Both jammers working hard. Banshee is stuck at the back, and Slam makes it through, scoring 4 points. Banshee is still trying to fight her way through the pack. Slam sneaks through, gaining another 4 points. And the jam ends naturally.
Hey, you can now support roller derby by watching baseball. Discounted Harbor Cat tickets are at the craft table.
Southside is calling an official review.
So interesting things.
Southside is seeking a directional penalty on their jammer.
Aiden, eyes on the officials for when they hold up the microphone. They haven't yet.
Southside was requesting a direction penalty on one of the Apples blockers. However, wheels were moving in derby direction even though the hits were strong. Therefore, no call will stand. Southside does not retain their OR.
This is a public service announcement for the owner of a blue BMW license VP849R. Your lights are on.
And the lights are on for this jam. It is blitz for the Rotten Apples up against Rosa Bulldoza. Two jammers are both neck and neck, speeding down the track, coming into the pack. Both jammers hit their respective walls, and it looks like Blitz gets knocked right off into the penalty box. Meanwhile, Rosa completes their first scoring pass and is skating a power jam for Southside Revolution. Some nice work outside, but a block from the Rotten Apples puts Rosa back to the back of the pack, and they call off the jam, which means that Blitz will start as the jammer for the Rotten Apples from the penalty box in the next jam, and there will be a very short power jam.
Want to help with fundraising? There's a charter bottle drive July 5th at the Glanford Bottle Depot. Jamming for Revolution is Skatiosaurus Rex. She makes her way through the pack. Comes up against the wall of the Rotten Apples. We've got in that wall, Pearl, Stingray, and Skatiosaurus Rex gets lead. Blitz is in the middle of the pack and makes it through for their initial pass. Skatiosaurus Rex calls off the jam.
And don't forget to get your 50-50 tickets. The draw will be during the halftime of tonight's final game. You could leave here richer than when you showed up. Let me guess. It's Sweet Tea against Rosa Bulldoza.
You can bring up some music, Aiden.
So we're rocking the classic lineup of Rosa Bulldoza versus Sweet Tea. Rosa's working the outside of the pack, gets a little resistance at the very front, gets knocked out, gets back in behind the Rotten Apples blocker, and it is, yes, it is now. So Southside's got lead, and
The Eves of Destruction wish to thank all of the outstanding sponsors that fund the gameplay you enjoy. As we tell you more about them, tonight consider how if you, too, would like to keep us rolling through 2026. Contact us at eodsponsorship@gmail.com. Jamming for the Rotten Apples is Slam Solo. Jamming for Southside Revolution is Scatosaurus Rex. Scatosaurus Rex just got lead. 4 leads in a row for Southside. Slam makes it through the pack for his initial pass. Scatosaurus Rex coming up through the middle and calls off the jam.
After hits like these, Physio is your friend, and Parkway Physiotherapy and Performance Center is a place where personalized care meets specialized treatments, and where patients are empowered to take control of their health and well-being. Oh, guess who's up on the jammer line? It's Sweet Tea and Rosa Boldoza.
What?
Rosa is mired at the back of the pack, whereas Sweet Tea breaks through and becomes your lead jammer. This breaks Southside's streak of lead jammers. And Sweet Tea calls off the jam before Rosa can score a point. Yes, no. That's a point for Southside.
The Zone at 91.3 is our exclusive radio partner playing today's modern rock. The Zone is live on the airways from just up the street. Jamming for the Rotten Apples is Blitz, and jamming again for Revolution is Scatosaurus Rex, who gets lead. Blitz gets knocked out and recycled back. Nice little leap on the in between the turn 1 and 2. Blitz makes it through for their initial pass. Scatosaurus Rex calls off the jam, gaining 1 point.
Hey, have you tried any of that Driftwood Brewery beer? It's fantastic, and it is here tonight. You can try it here, or you can try it at the bar and patio on Viewfield Road. A little shake-up in our classic lineup for jammers. It is now Slam Solo up against Rosa Boldoza. They have faced off with each other before, and they both get through the pack, but it is Rosa that takes lead. Both jammers come screaming into the pack. Rosa swings wide, knocked outside, and calls off the jam.
Our amazing crew of dedicated officials is one of the Eves of Destruction's biggest assets. From non-skating officials to on-skate officials, they make it possible for us to all enjoy the sport we love so much. Speak to any official or EOD member and find out how you too could be a part of this awesome crew. We have a team timeout called by the Rotten Apples. So a team timeout is only a minute long. An official timeout is as long as it takes for the officials to decide if they have everything sorted. Jamming for the apples is Sweet Tea, and Stegosaurus Rex is jamming for Revolution. Is this her third or fourth jam in a row? Just when I'm announcing. Interesting. Both jammers fighting their way through the pack. Sweet Tea has made it to the front and made it through, gaining lead. Stegosaurus Rex is still at the back of the pack. Sweet Tea has made it to the front again and has made it through. First scoring pass, gaining 4 points. Stegosaurus has made it through. She's at the front of the pack as the apples reconvene and regroup. Sweet Tea makes it through, scoring another 4 points. Stegosaurus Rex has passed the star to Cyclops. Sweet Tea calls it off and gains another 4 points. And that was our first star pass of the game.
We're having a score right now of 174 to 129 with the Rotten Apples in the lead. And we have Rosa Bulldoza up on the jammer line facing up against Blitz. Rosa screams up the inside, a quick deke around the Rotten Apple blocker and takes lead. Blitz is through as well. Both jammers come screaming into the pack for their first scoring pass. Bulldoza lives up to their name, takes the scoring pass, takes the 4 points, and calls off the jam.
Hotel Z rebels against the ordinary, combining a retro aesthetic with modern comfort. Hotel Z is the antidote to boring travel. Jamming for the Rotten Apples is Slam Solo, and jamming for Revolution is Stegosaurus Rex.
Southside is playing only two jammers.
And Stegosaurus Rex gets lead. Slam was recycled back. Tries to jump the apex. Gets recycled back. And Stegosaurus makes their way through the pack, gaining 4 points. Slam's working hard at the back of the pack, made it midway, and gets recycled back by Cyclops. Stegosaurus Rex made it back to the front of the pack. And she calls off the jam. Slam just got the initial pass.
Southside has been playing only two jammers ever since Jam 7 of this second half. So this, if they keep it up, which they are, we're now 10 jams with only two jammers for that.
Well, check this out. This is my favorite lineup. It is Rosa Bulldoza up against Sweet Tea. This has got to be 9 or 10 jams that they faced off. Can't think of a better matched pair. Once again, it is Sweet Tea that takes the lead jam. Sweet Tea comes screaming through the pack. Grabs their 4 points. Is it quite 4? Looks like 3 points for the Rotten Apples, but Southside manages to pick up 4.
Empire Donuts, a whole lot of love.
That apple fritter was awesome.
Not a big fan of apple fritter, but I really do like their Earl Grey donut. Jamming for the Rotten Apples is Slam Solo, and jamming for Revolution is Scatosaurus Rex, who has lead, with Slam coming out hot on their trail. Scatosaurus Rex is in the engagement zone, makes it to the front of the pack, is knocked out by Pearl, calls off the jam.
Influence Board Shop right down the street on Quadra. Get your skate gear at Influence Board Shop. And Hotel Z. Fantastic stays. Cool shuttles too. Rosa Bulldoza up against Blitz. Rosa has been the bedrock of Southside for jamming for this half, it seems. Blitz knocked out of the, recycled to the back of the pack. Rosa makes their first scoring pass, and Blitz is out of the pack. Picking up the pace. Meanwhile, Rosa comes screaming in, tries the inside, but there's a solid 3-wall from the Rotten Apples. Rosa says enough of this, calls off the jam. It looks like both jammers scored 3 points on that particular scoring pass.
Get your 50-50 tickets. Look for that pink sign. The draw will happen during halftime of the next game, and you could be leaving richer than you arrived. Jamming for the Rotten Apples is Sweet Tea. And jamming for Revolution, Killer Diva. I believe this is the first time they're jamming. Sweet Tea gates lead. Sweet Tea calls off the jam. Gaining 3 points for the Rotten Apples.
Hearts and Hands, your friendly neighborhood community acupuncture and holistic health collective right here in the heart of Quadra Village. And it is Rosa Bulldoza up against Blitz once again. Blitz comes screaming up the inside. Little fancy footwork on the line and makes it through to become your lead jammer. Rosa's mired in the pack. As Blitz sneaks through a little bit of double footwork, but gets knocked down by the Southside blockers. Sneaks through, grabs 4 points for their scoring pass. But not to be outdone, Rosa grabs 4 points as well. Little fancy skating gets another scoring pass for Blitz, who then calls off the jam, shutting out Rosa from that second scoring pass.
The Zone 91.3 is our exclusive radio partner playing today's modern rock. The Zone is live on the airwaves from right here in Victoria. Jamming again for the Rotten Apples is Slam Solo up against Revolution Scatosaurus Rex. Scatosaurus Rex is being held at the back of the pack. Slam is somewhere in the middle. Both jammers working hard. Scatosaurus Rex makes it through and gains lead. Slam is at the front of the pack, makes it through for their initial pass. Scatosaurus Rex is back at the back of the pack, calls off the jam. Gaining 4 points for Revolution.
Cloverdale Paint has helped keep our track going for over 13 years. check out their newly opened store in Souk. And taking the jammer line for Southside Revolution B, once again, is Killer Diva. Up against Sweet Tea. Killer Diva up the inside, gets knocked out, comes back in behind the Rotten Apple blockers while Sweet Tea screams through, takes your lead jammer. A solid slam into the Southside wall. Killer Diva, meantime, up front gets knocked down by the Rotten Apples defense. Stingray taking a penalty for that hit. Killer Diva now being held back. Rotten Apples forming a solid 3-wall. Meantime, Sweet Tea gets recycled to the back of the pack. Both Banshee and Cyclops keeping Sweet Tea at bay. Destruction now joins in the fold. Banshee knocks out Sweet Tea, and Sweet Tea calls off the jam.
A big EOD thank you to our tireless photographers. We all look forward to revisiting today's greatest hits through your work. Jamming for the Rotten Apples is Blitz. Jamming for Revolution is Rosa Bulldoza. Rosa makes it through on the inside, gaining lead. Blitz is recycled back. Rosa is in. Rosa makes it through, gaining 4 points. Blitz is still being held at the back of the pack as Rosa sneaks by and gains another 4 points. Is being recycled back. Rosa sneaks by again. Rosa sneaks through, gaining another 4 points. Blitz is still trying to make their way through the back of the pack and getting recycled back again as Rosa slips by, gaining another 4 points. Rosa sneaks by yet again. Rosa is being sent to the box for a cut. Blitz is still trying to make their way through. Blitz has been stuck on the second turn for quite some time now. Blitz being sent to the box for a cut. Rosa is back in the middle of the pack, being met by Coco Loco. Makes it through, gaining another 4 points. And the jam naturally ends.
In a world filled with mass-produced stuff, connect with what you consume with Driftwood Brewery. Visit their bar and patio nearby on Viewfield Road or on site here tonight. And we start off with a power jam for Southside Revolution. It is Mimi Mayhem coming through, taking lead jammer. Mimi Mayhem working the power jam. This is now the last jam of the game. We have Mimi Mayhem working the inside of the pack. Blitz on the outside. Blitz sneaks to the inside, but gets knocked out by the Southside defense. Cut back in before the opponent that knocked him out. Puts Blitz into the penalty box. We now have a power jam for Southside Revolution. Blitz now back on the track. Scores a few points, but is get knocked back to the back of the pack and tries once again for a complete pass. Killer Diva now taking Blitz out to the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Mimi Mayhem causing some mayhem on the Rotten Apples wall up front. Tries to the outside, but is denied. Recycle to the back. Meanwhile, Blitz working through. Jam is now over. We have an unofficial score. Oh, that's a nice comeback for Southside Revolution, but just shy for a 202 Rotten Apples. Southside Revolution 188.
All right, this is Regrettal talking to you from the middle of the track. We are going to give those teams a chance to confer and decide on who their team spirit MVPs are. I have the names for their MVP jammers and blockers, so those will be announced in just a moment. Center track. All right, you can hang out and do that with me. MVPs. Southside. MVP blocker, Cyclops. Rotten Apples. MVP blocker, Tinkle Toad. Stay up here for pictures. Southside MVP Jammer, 100, Rosa Bulldoza. Rotten Apples MVP Jammer, Slam Solo. Southside Overall Spirit, number 14, Killer Diva. And Rotten Apples, overall team spirit, 4-2, Blitz. All right, folks, stick around. We have another game starting at 7:30. We will have the Margarita Villains taking on Team Divergence. thank the Kosapsum Esquimalt Nation and the Songhees Nation, along with the Tsuk and Pachidat, for allowing us to play the sport we love and host our events on their traditional territory. We, as guests, recognize this territory as unceded and honor the ongoing relationship with the land and stewardship of the Lekwungen-speaking people. We are honored to live on this land and are working toward reconciliation, decolonization, and building relationships in our communities. A few local organizations you can support are Victoria Native Friendship Center, Raven Trust for Environmental Justice, and ComChem Coastal Connections, Indigenous Harm Reduction and Health Services.
I'd like to welcome our guest team tonight, Team Jam. Number 27, Honey Kruller. Number 525, Pepto Abysmal. Number 713, Is He Dead? Number 715, Calamity Clo. Number 78, Jerry Can. Number 8, Scream Soda. Number 81, Sledine. Number 826, Medazza Slam. Number 880, Legs Benedict. And number 89, Lank the Tank.
Well, our song is going to come up a bit late. I'm going to talk to you about the villains, and they're going to start skating. And if the music happens, we're going to be really impressed. Skating for the Margarita Villains, 0-0, Fanny in the Pack. 0-0-6, Ultraviolet. 0-5-5, Polly Rocket. 0-6, Fat Bottom Hurls. 1-1-6-6, The Wife of Wrath. 4, Terminator. 4-5-2, The Frenzy. 5-3, Dr. Crusher. 5-5, Soda Pressed. 5-9, Artemis Prime. 6-1-3, Mill Street Bruisery. 6-6-6, Carry Me to Hell. 7-6, The Cunning Linguist. 8-1-8, Brown Sugar Boba. 8-6, Silver Rogue. Bench staff is Faf, J. Scar Tolkien, Grim Steeper, and Trish Trash. This is where you imagine the music going wild and the fans go crazy.
Tonight, our skating officials. Our outside pack refs tonight, Audrey Rugburn, Duchess of Death, and Bobo Cup. Your jam refs tonight, Intervener and Rolando Furioso. Your inside pack ref tonight is Wheels of Fortune. And your head ref, Ohms Lawbringer.
That's not all, folks. We've got a crew of off-skates officials helping us out. Our jam timer is left on red. Our penalty and lime trackers are Time Bandit and V-Rex. Our scoreboard operator is Spacey Stacy, supported by scorekeepers Nailer and Pinky and the Pain. Our penalty box manager is Hot Flash. They're supported by timers Pushy Cat and Panic. And their alt is Banshee. We are about half a minute from Derby. If you haven't stocked up on your beverages and snacks, do that now. Things are about to get exciting.
Starting off tonight, we have Honey Kruller up against the Cunning Linguist. Right off the bat, Lingo puts a hit on Honey, but Honey working up the outside, comes out to the inside, gets knocked out by Terminator, recycled to the back of the pack, all the way back right into turn 3. Lingo, meanwhile, stuck behind Tank. And it is Honey Cruller that is through as your first lead jammer of the evening. Honey skates up the inside for their first scoring pass. Lingo, meanwhile, working on the outside. It's recycled again to the back. Honey now encounters a Margarita's 3-wall. Terminator up front, holding them at bay. Honey slips past, scores a few more points. And it looks like we have a star pass. It is now Fanny in the pack, who will now officially become your Margarita Villains jammer, but the jam has been called.
We've started off with a 12-point jam there for Team Divergence. Now, longtime fans of the Eves of Destruction may be looking at Team Divergence and seeing a collection of jerseys and familiar names. What Team Divergence is it's a group of skaters that are neurodivergent that come together to form a team. This happens all over North America. Right now, what you're watching is your West Coast version. And you can still cheer for them. They're still Eves. Cheer for everybody. This jam's starting with Scream Soda, who has been a Rotten Apples with the juniors, has played on Junior Team Canada, and is back with the Eves of Destruction now. Lead has gone to number 06. That's Fat Bottom Hurls from the Margarita Villains. Scream Soda out on their initial pass. Pack is at turn 2 as Hurls pulls through, calls that jam off before Scream can get back to the pack at all.
The Eves of Destruction wish to thank all of the outstanding sponsors that fund the gameplay that you enjoy. As we tell you more about them tonight, consider if you too would like to help keep us rolling through 2026, contact us at eodsponsorship@gmail.com. Looks like we have Carry Me to Hell up against Sladine. Sladine's working the inside. Carry Me to Hell tries to follow through. Both jammers mired in the defensive walls of their opposing teams. Sladine swallowed right up by that 4-wall of the Margarita Villains. Looks like Carry Me to Hell is being carried to hell by the Team Divergence blockers. At the front, it is Sladine, still trying that Margarita Villains wall. It is Wife of Wrath who is now pushing them to the outside. And Carry Me to Hell is through. Takes lead jammer for the Margarita Villains. Sladine up at the front, being held back by Wife of Wrath. Carry Me to Hell, meanwhile, busting through the pack on the scoring pass, but cannot break the front Divergent wall. Sladine is through, but once again, no, it is Wife of Wrath knocking them out. Recycling Sladine to the back of the pack. Meanwhile, up front, Carry Me to Hell facing off against a Divergent 2-wall. Getting a little help from a Margarita Villain blocker up there. Dr. Crusher to the assistance of many. Both jammers completely mired, and the jam has run its course.
That was a hard-fought 4 points there for Carry Me to Hell. That brings our score up to Margarita Villains 8, Team Divergence 12. Parkway Physiotherapy and Performance Center is a place where personalized care meets specialized treatment and where patients are empowered to take control of their own health and well-being. with 5 seconds to go till gameplay 7-6. The Cunning Linguist back on the jam line. Number 1-6, Azka Jam out for Team Divergence. First time jamming in this game. That was Fanny in the pack with a hit to the outside. Azka Jam back in right quick ahead of them. Cunning Linguist pushing their way at turn 2. About to enter the apex. The pack is spread pretty wide. That is lead to Lingo. 3 leads in a row, Margarita Villains. Azka Jam almost makes it out, but hit by Terminator. Folks in the crowd, if you look at turn 3, you'll see Terminator's brother with a thermometer for how far Terminator draws people back throughout this game. Lingo through with another 4 points for the Margarita Villains. Fanny in the pack with a push out. Fanny goes back. That's a cut track penalty called against Azka Jam. We now have a lead jam in favor of the Cunning Linguist. There's still a minute on the clock. Lingo has 30 seconds to take advantage of that. The Margarita Villains set up at turn 3 in an offensive formation. Passive offense, no pack is called, moves everybody forward. Slam at Jana with a hit to the outside. Lingo calls that off with Azka Jam still in the penalty box. That forces a power start in favor of the Margarita Villains when we go into Jam 5.
The Zone at 91.3 is our exclusive radio partner. Playing today's modern rock, The Zone is live on the airways from right here in Quadra Village, here in Victoria.
That's a little official timeout as our track gets some repairs made. And the rolling whistle ends that official timeout.
Yep. Okay. And it is Fat Bottom Hurls jamming for the Margarita Villains on a power jam start. Hurls through for your lead jammer. Meanwhile, Azka Jam out of the penalty box makes it through their initial pass. Hurls calls off the jam and picking up what looks like to be a single point. 2 points. 2 points.
In a world filled with mass-produced stuff, connect with what you consume with Driftwood Brewery. Visit their bar and patio nearby on Viewfield Road, or enjoy them here tonight. This time we've got number 5-5. That's my own teammate, Soda Pressed. They're out jamming for the Margarita Villains. Another teammate of mine is Honey Kruller, the jammer for Divergence. Soda makes it through at the apex. 5 leads in a row for the Margarita Villains. Honey Kruller does not want to be left behind chasing that down. Soda approaching the back of the pack in the straightaway. Push to the inside, taps his hips. Collects the points for the Margarita Villains. That is a 2-point collection, bringing our score to Team Divergence 12, Margarita Villains 22.
A shout out to our amazing crew of dedicated officials. They are one of Eve's Destruction's biggest assets. From non-skating officials to on-skate officials, they make it possible for all of us to enjoy this sport we love so much. Speak to any official or EOD member to find out how you too could be part of this awesome crew. And we have Sladeen up against Lingo. Lingo stuck at the back, trying to break through the Divergence wall. Meanwhile, Sladeen thrashing up the inside. It's a little fast, fancy footwork, working that inside apex. Swings around the outside. It is Terminator for a late block, but it is not enough. And Sladeen is your lead jammer. Lingo now through for their initial pass. And Sladeen takes their scoring pass and calls off the jam.
Hotel Z rebels against the ordinary. Combining a retro aesthetic with modern comfort, Hotel Z is the antidote to boring travel. Team Divergence sneaking up with 16 points on the scoreboard. Margarita Villains holding at 22. Villains send out 0-6 Fat Bottomed Hurls, jamming against 8 Scream Soda. Scream Soda finds space along the inside line, takes lead for Divergence. We have a star pass. Fat Bottomed Hurls has handed that on to 4-5-2 The Frenzy, now your active jammer for the Margarita Villains. Scream Soda threw on a scoring pass as the Frenzy enters. Frenzy threw on a scoring pass. Scream Soda re-enters at the back, pushes up against Fat Bottomed Hurls, who is now playing as a blocker. The Frenzy finds space on the inside. On that twirl, gets hit in. Scream Soda escapes out the front. 4 points in the air from Rolando Furioso. And another point at the end there from Wiener. Current score, Divergence 20, Villains 27.
Empire Donuts, a whole lot of love. All donuts made by hand from scratch with quality ingredients. And I do believe I saw plenty of Earl Grey donuts left over there, so get you some. It is Carry Me to Hell up against Aska Jam. Aska Jam being blocked hard by Honey Cruller and her teammates. Aska Jam hops up the inside, takes lead. Meanwhile, the Villains, it is Carry Me to Hell still working through the pack. Carry Me to Hell off to the penalty box with a cut track penalty. It is now a power jam for Team Divergence. A knock to the outside by Wife of Wrath, and the jam is over.
Parkway Physiotherapy and Performance Center is a place where personalized care meets specialized treatments and where patients are empowered to take control of their health and well-being. We have an official timeout. These folks you see walking around the outside of the track, staring closely at the ground, are our track repair crew. They're making sure that that rope hasn't come loose so our skaters don't get tangled up in it. A big thank you to those volunteers.
We had to actually be careful at Eagle Ridge pulling that stuff off the floor. If we pulled it just the wrong way, it would take the top layer of the tiles with it. Okay.
That rolling whistle brings us back to gameplay. Carry Me to Hell sitting in the penalty box from the last jam for the Margarita Villains. That means this is a power jam in favor of Team Divergence as we start. They've sent out Aska Jam as their jammer. Divergence starts with some passive offense by holding back. They move up with some chaotic offense to help get Aska Jam through. Aska Jam with Terminator to beat at the front. That's Slade according to my screen. So sorry about that, Asgajam, if you've been surprised what I've been saying your name. Slade is our jammer. They are facing a tripod anchored by Fanny in the pack. Carry Me to Hell is out of the penalty box, engaged with the pack, hit to the outside. Length the tank with the drawback. Sladine heading to the penalty box. We have not had a lead established yet. This is now a power jam in favor of Carry Me to Hell and the Margarita Villains. Carry Me to Hell, the only jammer on the track. This Divergence tripod is anchored by Jerry. Carrie gets past the hips of Lank. Lank and Pinky in form ahead. Recycling around. Jerry now the skater to beat, supported by Lank the tank. That two-person brace at the front, sliding back and forth, following Carry Me to Hell. Recycle around, Lank the tank to beat. And that's through. Lead goes to Margarita Villains. A minute and a half to earn that lead. Carry Me to Hell comes out of the penalty box and works hard. Slade with the helmet cover off on an initial pass. Carry Me to Hell finds an open space. We have a successful star pass. Jerry can now the jammer for Team Divergence.
This is just a quick reminder that at halftime we will be announcing the winner of the 50-50 draw. So get your 50-50 tickets now. You have 15 minutes left to get your 50-50 tickets. It is Lingo up against Scream Soda. Scream Soda up the inside. Takes a quick bid for lead jammer. Lingo, meanwhile, Lingo's working hard up the inside. It is Tuffy. Scream Soda gets your first 4 points of the jam. And we have a power jam for Team Divergence as Lingo has a cut track. Scream Soda wraps around her teammates. Almost, but gets a hit. Knocks them out to the back of the pack. A quick dash up the inside. Scream Soda grabs 4 more points, and it is the end of the jam.
Heart and Hands, your friendly neighborhood community acupuncture and holistic health collective in the heart of Quadra Village. Our current score, Team Divergence now at 36. We had a lead change with that last jam. Margarita Villains sitting at 31. We've got Honey Crueler number 27 against 06 Fat Bottom Hurls as we start jam 12. Honey Crueler takes an inside line. Fat Bottom Hurls takes an outside. Hurls comes up against the Divergence pivot. Honey is lead for this, but both jammers are close. Teams are both trying to get ahead and collect their points. Pack starts moving fast. It's up to Honey Crueler. Passes a couple of those villain hips and taps their own hips to call the jam. I see 2 points being held up by Rolando Furioso.
Oh, you can almost hear it down here. You can almost hear it. You can almost hear today's modern rock coming in from down the street at our exclusive radio partner, The Zone 91.3. Put them on in your car on the way home. And this is the first jam for Fanny in the Pack up against Slade, skating for Team Divergence. And Fanny works their way out of the pack. Grabs lead jammer for the Margarita Villains. Meanwhile, Sladine mired at the front of the pack. And Fanny sails through for their first scoring pass. Picks up 4 points for the Margarita Villains. Terminator keeping the blockers up at bay, and we are going to be closing the 50-50 draw in 5 minutes. You have 5 more minutes.
Drop in to Influence Board Shop for Victoria's best selection of skateboards and gear. I think I saw them with some good shoes here today too. This time we've got Lingo versus Tuffy. Tuffy number 007 drawn back by 4-5-2. Frenzy goes out of play. Tuffy gets a cut track penalty, no longer eligible for lead. It's up to Lingo to take the lead. Tuffy and Scream take a seat in the penalty box as Lingo gets through with an initial and lead for the Margarita Villains. It's been 7 jams since the Villains have had lead. Lingo's taking advantage of that. Slaya to beat at turn 3. Lingo through with 4. Leg's going to go and trade off in the penalty box there. We're down to 2 blockers for Divergence, but Slamma with the hit to the inside. Lingo with Slamma and Calamity Clo to beat. Sorry, that was Izzy Dead that was working with Slamma. Tuffy is out of the penalty box, through with an initial pass. Lingo does not want to give up any points, calls that jam off.
Once again, want to give a big thank you to our photographers. We can all look forward to logging on and revisiting today's greatest hits through your work. It is Dr. Crusher for the Margarita Villains skating up against Aska Jam. Aska Jam skates around the outside. Gets knocked down. Wife of Wrath recycles them to the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Dr. Crusher is through. Dr. Crusher just getting around Lank, but Lank says, no way, I am not letting that happen. Quick no pack is called, and Dr. Crusher has been released from the medical center. And it is a star pass. We have Pepto-Abysmal, now your jammer for Team Divergence. Meanwhile, Dr. Crusher comes through the pack once again. Calls off the jam. Abysmal denied points.
Margarita Villains widening that gap. Our current score, Team Divergence 38, Margarita Villains 53. Cloverdale Paint has helped keep our track going for 13 years. Check out their newly opened store in Souk. 27, Honey Cruller, 55, Soda Pressed. These two faced each other back in Jam 6. That time it was Soda that was lead, and once again, Soda takes lead for the Margarita Villains. At turn 1, Honey Cruller makes it past Fanny in the pack for an initial pass. Both jammers in scoring position. Soda, with guidance from the bench, calls that jam before Honey Cruller can make it back to the pack. That's Wiener indicating 3 points.
Parkway Physiotherapy and Performance Center is a place where personalized care meets specialized treatments and where patients are empowered to take control of their health and well-being. There's Lingo up against Sladine. Lingo up the inside, quickly wraps around Sladine. Sladine falls through, but gets taken down. Recycled to the back of the pack. And Lingo was through, taking lead jammer for the Margarita Villains. Meanwhile, Mill Street Bruisery is the anchor for the Villains wall, but Tuffy is now your jammer for Team Divergence, but Lingo denies Tuffy any points by calling off the jam.
The Zone at 91.3 is our exclusive radio partner playing today's modern rock. The Zone is live on the airways from right here in Victoria. Our jammers this time are 8 Scream Soda, 06 Fat Bottom Hurls. Scream Soda finds space on turn 1. Lead goes to... no, that is a multiplayer penalty going to Scream Soda. So lead has gone to Fat Bottom Hurls. That's 5 in a row for the Margarita Villains. Power Jam. Pack moves through turn 2. Fat Bottom Hurls looking for some offensive help from Ultraviolet. Multiplayer penalty weakens the Divergence line. Hurls hit to the inside. That was number 1-6, Azkajam with the drawback. Azkajam hit outside by the Wife of Wrath. That allows Hurls to step back on the track. Hit to the inside by Azkajam. Hurls drawn to the back. Out from the penalty box, Scream Soda back at turn 1, facing 3 of those Margarita Villains in a rotating tripod. Makes it past the Wife of Wrath at the end there. That's an initial completed now for Scream Soda. The Zone at 91.3 penalty box is momentarily emptied as number 004 comes out, but they're replaced by Divergence Pivot. Hurls through at the end with 4 points for the Margarita Villains.
And once again, we really want to shout out to the St. John's ambulance crew here who are attending tonight. Really happy to have you guys on board, making sure we stay okay. Somebody, get those folks a hot dog or a donut. In for repairs right now, and they gave me a loaner. Yeah. Brand spanking new car, like brand new car. No key fob, no push buttons or nothing. Everything's slick key. I'm like, hello, retro. And it is Soda Press up against Honey Cruller.
This is the 3rd time we've seen these 2 jammers face each other. Previous 2 times, Soda has taken lead. This time, Honey has started with a further back position, trying to get a lead up. Soda is pushing on the inside against the line. Bruise Clues walking around the arena waving a hot dog sign, if any of you are tempted by that. Honey Cruller moving into turn 1 as Soda is pulled back by Length the Tank. Divergence reforms, trying to slow down Soda. It's Honey Cruller through at the front. Lead to Team Divergence. Soda is through the pack. Both jammers in scoring position. Penalty box empty. Honey calls that off after squeezing past one set of hips, so that's a 1 point Divergence.
And yeah, just a reminder, there is hot dogs, drinks, outside, and cupcakes, all for fundraising. And as once again, Sladine up against the Cunning Linguist. Both jammers switch spots on the track as they try to make it up through the pack. It is Lingo who gets furthest, with Sladine stuck at the back. But not before Pinky takes Lingo all the way back to the jammer line. Sladine's mired up with the Margarita wall up front. Slam it, Janet goes to help her out. Both jammers now ground to almost a complete standstill. It is slow going as the pack just is only as far as turn 1. Lingo now out to the back of the pack, and it is Sladine who is through and takes your lead jammer for Team Divergence. And it is a star pass once again to the Frenzy. Sladine through for their scoring pass, picks up 4 points and calls off the jam before the Frenzy can make hay.
In a world filled with mass-produced stuff, connect with what you consume with Driftwood Brewery. Visit their bar and patio nearby on Viewfield Road or on-site here tonight. Speaking of our on-site beverage garden, they stop serving during halftime. So if you're going to want a beverage, you're going to want to get to them in the next few minutes. We have 1 minute of gameplay left before we get into that halftime. Our jammers right now are Fanny in the pack and Tuffy. Tuffy being chased down by Fat Bottom Hurls. Both skaters go out. That means Tuffy can get right back on the track. That lead has been earned. Lead has gone to Divergence. Fanny in the pack through with an initial pass for the Margarita Villains. This is Fanny's second time jamming. Tuffy through with 4 points indicated by our official Rolando Furioso. Fanny in the pack collecting some points in the pack. Tuffy hit to the outside, calls the jam from the outside. Another 2 points assessed at the end of that jam. That makes it a Villains 2, Team Divergence 6 jam. And my clock indicates intermission, but we're going to wait until we hear all the right whistles. Our teams can still ask for an official review, so that could be held off for a moment. And that rolling whistle takes us to intermission. We will have your 50-50 number during the intermission, and our beverage garden will close, so get to that. Reminder, there's hot dogs, drinks, cupcakes outside. Have a little dance. We'll see you soon.
So we have Honey Curler up again, skating against Fat Bottom Hurls.
I've heard official review be called out. I don't see the signal for official review. I'm just taking a look at what I see. Official timeout I see on my screen.
Oh, it's a Villains timeout.
So the Margarita Villains have requested extra points added to their score. They believe there were some not on the track points in that last jam based on the skaters that were in the penalty box at the time. We will leave it up to our head ref, who I think is Ohm's Lawbringer, to give us the decision on that momentarily.
So yeah, so you come through the pack, any blocker sitting in the penalty box, you pick up those points, right?
You sure do. But see if they were still in the box when that pass happened.
It's been going on. Yeah, actually, next month it'll be 12 years since I left. No, I left actually. I think it was April of 2014 because it was July 2012 that I left the Eaves, but it was I think April 2014 that I stopped roughing because I was roughing for Brass Knuckle for a while after the Eaves.
Use the mic,
What's that?
I see Ohm's Lawbringer signaling but not picking up a microphone. So I'm going to interpret that signal with the thumbs down to mean that that official review is not retained.
So a lot of those fine detail rules are starting to get rusty in my mind. Yep. And once again, it is Honey Cruller for Team Divergence up against the Margaritam's Fat Bottom Hurls. And both jammers try different ends of the pack, and it is Fat Bottom Hurls up the inside to get your lead jammer for Margarita Villains, but not to be outdone. Right on their back is Honey Cruller. Hurls now attempting the first scoring pass, where a great apex jump. Little too much momentum, and she went off to the outside. But that looks like, it looks to me, is it a 4-on-4?
4-on-4. That jump by Honey made it so they grabbed all those points before the call-off happened from Hurls. We have an official timeout being signaled there by one of our officials. They're looking for a track repair on the outside.
Wow, that apex jump broke the track.
Heart and Hands, your friendly neighborhood community acupuncture and holistic health collective in the heart of Quadra Village. That's Slaya Solo getting some fan appreciation for their track tape work. The rolling whistle is going to bring us back to gameplay. It's number 8, Sladeen out jamming for Divergence. And here's a treat. We haven't seen the Wife of Wrath out as a starting jammer in a long time. Wow, jamming for the Margarita Villains. Sladeen hit to the inside at the pivot line, drawn back by the Frenzy. Wow in forward position. That is a high block penalty assessed to the Wife of Wrath. power jam in favor of Team Divergence. Oh, I see cutting. Sorry, my misinterpretation there. That's a cut track penalty. Sladine is our only active jammer on the track. That double whistle means Sladine is our lead. Lead goes to Team Divergence. Pack is tight at turn 2. Jerry Can holding a back position. Passive offense, forcing the Margarita Villains to span forward. Offensive help comes in from number 525. That tips Sladine over. Pack tightens up again at turn 3. Silver Rogue hit to the outside. The Wife of Wrath out of the penalty box and fast into the pack. Sladine drawn back behind the Frenzy again. The Wife of Wrath looking to pass everybody in the straightaway in between the jam line and pivot line. That pass is complete. Initial pass completed for the Margarita Villains. Sladine with lead in the pack, calls it off before the Wife of Wrath gets back.
Hard-fought escape from the pack by Wife of Wrath there. And for your hard-fought days, don't forget about Parkway Physiotherapy and Performance Center, a place where personalized care meets specialized treatments and where patients are empowered to take control of their health and well-being. Both jammers starting far back from the jammer line, trying to get a little momentum on the pack as the pack crowds the jammer line. It is the Cunning Lingo's up against Aska Jam. Aska Jam mired to the back of the pack, where Lingo is mired at the front of the pack. Lingo skates around the outside. It's a late block that takes them down, but it is a no penalty, no pass. That means Lingo is now your lead jammer. And it looks like we have a star pass. It is Scream Soda that now will effectively become your jammer for Team Divergence. And there they go. And once again, the starred pass has been denied any points as Lingo calls off the jam. I'm not sure if a single star pass has scored points tonight.
Well, I could look that up, but it's going to take me a while. Actually, the Frenzy scored 5 points in Jam 8 in the first half after the Star Pass. But Star Passes have used a lot. In our first half of the game, it was even, both teams using it 3 times. In this second half of the game, that was our first Star Pass. This time we've got Honey Crueler, number 2-7, jamming against 0-6 Fat Bottom Hurls. Honey finds an inside line, passing the pivot line. That is lead to Divergence. Fat Bottom Hurls with helmet cover in hand, pushing at the front, trying to pass the first apex. Honey Crueler finds space on the outside. Margarita Villains are focusing on offense on the inside line. Fat Bottom Hurls moves into turn 2, clearing the apex. Honey has to get past Terminator. Some fancy footwork along the line there gets Honey Crueler through with a scoring pass. Fanny in the pack out from the penalty box rejoins that wall of Margarita blockers. Honey Crueler takes a whip off of the back of Jerry Can. Scoring pass completed. Fat Bottom Hurls with helmet cover still in hand comes in behind the pack. That's Pinky anchoring Legs, Benedict, and Tank. Pack spreads out in the near apex. Fat Bottom Hurls releases that helmet cover to Fanny in the pack. That is a completed star pass for the Margarita Villains. Fanny, now your active jammer. Honey Crueler through the front. Gets past Terminator rolling on the ground. Fanny in forward position looking to complete that pass for the Villains. Honey takes an outside line down low, makes it past Rocky as Fanny gets the helmet cover on. Initial completed for Fanny. Honey calls the jam. 17 points to Divergence in that jam.
And tonight, join all your favorite skaters at Swan's Pub for the Eves of Destruction after party. And on your way down, don't forget to turn your car radio to 91.3 The Zone, our exclusive radio partner. And don't forget, please don't drink and drive. And it is Carry Me to Hell for the Margarita Villains up against Tuffy. Carry Me to Hell gets recycled to the back of the pack. And Tuffy makes their way to the penalty box. So it is now a power jam for the Margarita Villains. The pack gets moving into defensive mode as Team Divergence try to stop Carry Me to Hell, but they break through for 4 points. Team Divergence now at full blocker strength up at the front of the pack. Carry Me to Hell coming through, gets taken down. Mired in a 3-wall. Meanwhile, Tuffy returns to the track, coming in behind the Margarita Villains. Carry Me to Hell up front meantime. Charmangler not having any give. Jerry Can now holding sway. And it is Tuffy through for what looks like their initial pass. No points scored for Team Divergence.
8 points to the Margarita Villains in that one. Our current score is Divergence 75, Villains 90. Drop into the Influence Board Shop for Victoria's best selection of skateboards and gear. Both of our jammers starting pretty far back in order to get a run up. That is Aska Jam number 1-6 and 7-6, a cunning linguist. Aska Jam in rear position right now with a lot of lateral movement. Lingo in forward position, hit to the outside by Link the Tank. Link is able to complete a drawback, gets Lingo in the rear position now. Aska Jam takes a tumble with Terminator. Offensive help comes in from Legs Benedict. Legs returns to the tripod formation, slowing down Lingo. Both teams moving through the apex. It's a hit to the outside, and the Wife of Wrath skates back with a draw. Lingo makes it past Link the Tank at the front. Lead goes to the Margarita Villains. Lingo back in the pack, scoring position. Aska Jam, helmet cover in hand at the back of the pack. Wife of Wrath anchoring a wall. Lingo in forward position, that wall anchored by Calamity, it looks like. Lingo through with 4 points. Star Pass is complete for Team Divergence. Your active jammer now number 880, Legs Benedict. Legs with UV to beat at the front. UV supported by the Wife of Wrath. Those skaters are out of play. That gets Leg through the pack. Initial pass completed for Divergence. Lingo ends that jam before Legs can get back to the pack. Adds another 3 points to the score at the end there, taking the Villains to 97, Divergence 75.
Cloverdale Paint has helped keep our track going for over 13 years. They have a new location. Check out their newly opened store in Souk. It is now Fat Bottom Hurls skating for the Margarita Villains up against Scream Soda. Scream Soda taking the inside line. Fat Bottom Hurls working through the centers, dances to the inside, makes it around to turn 1, and clears in turn 2 to become your lead jammer. Meanwhile, Scream Soda mired at the front of the pack. It looks like fanning the pack, holding them back. Soda's now through. Meanwhile, Hurls calls off the jam. In a very cheeky way. Scream Soda. Yep. And we have Wife of Wrath jamming for the Villains on this jam up against Sladeen. Wrath ducks through. Quick deke and takes lead jammer and begins that hard skate, prepping for their scoring pass. Sladeen now through on their initial pass. Wife of Wrath dancing around the front and calls off the jam. 4-0.
Early bird tickets are half price for our July 4th game. You'll find signs around the arena with a QR code there for those half price tickets. That game will be the Hardcores versus the World and the Daisy Pushers versus the Bells of the Brawl. We've got number 1-6 Azkajam versus 0-0 Fanny and the Pack. Azkajam in rear position at the moment. Fanny in the Pack finds space outside of the pivot line. That is a lead for the Margarita Villains. That's 5 in a row for the Villains. Azkajam through with an initial pass as Fanny in the Pack is in scoring position. Fanny hit to the inside, calls the jam. Two points to the Villains.
And I'm not sure if they're still out there, but maybe still cooking up some hot dogs for the roller derby fundraiser. $3 a dog, $3 a drink, and $3 a cupcake. I am sure those hot dogs are going to go on sale. So head on out to the truck afterwards before making your way down to Swan's Pub for the after party. And it is Fat Bottom Hurls up against Tuffy. Tuffy is through and grabs lead jammer. And Hurls now through their initial pass. Tuffy, meanwhile, dancing around in some fancy footwork, spinning back and forth, getting through for their first scoring pass. Hurls down at the back of the pack. And it looks like Legs Benedict is going to sit for 30 seconds in the penalty box. Hurls still down. Tries to call off the jam, but they are not lead jammer. Meanwhile, Tuffy on their scoring pass gets knocked out, recycled to the back of the pack, has to do that work all over again. The front, Lank now bridging so Jerry can keep Hurls at bay. Lank now joining Jerry Can up at the front. And Hurls is down and out of the track boundary, which means they have to come into the back. Meanwhile, Tuffy, same thing, recycled to the back of the pack. It is a star pass to carry me to hell that is incompleted as Tuffy calls off the jam.
It looks like we have ourselves an official timeout. That is Lingo and Sladeen out as your jammers here in jam number 14. Lingo finds a wide open lane there at the pivot line. Lead goes to the Margarita Villains. Sladine in rear position. All four Villains working against Sladine. That penalty takes number 7-6 to the penalty box. Looks like that was a cut track penalty. Lead is lost, so this will be a full 2-minute jam. Power jam in favor of Sladine and Team Divergence. The Margarita Villains are working on scattering the pack. Sladine comes in behind their own team looking for some offensive help. Team Divergence moves forward, breaking up the Villains wall. Prime comes back into position. Star Pass has been completed. Active jammer is now number 1-3, Slam It Janet. They get hung up on the back of Terminator. The thermometer is going to add another 20 feet onto the drawback chart. That was Dr. Crusher with a interesting rolling block at the back there. Slam It Jam It hits the inside. That's the Cunning Linguist out of the penalty box, through the pack, picking up points for the Margarita Villains. Slam It Janet with the helmet cover in hand is still your active jammer for Team Divergence. They have Prime and Terminator to beat at the front. Prime, the last blocker for Slam It Janet to get past. And that is an initial pass completed for Team Divergence. At the back, the Cunning Linguist trying to step through past Length the Tank, hit to the outside as our time expires.
And once again, you can support roller derby by watching baseball. So pick up your discounted Harbor Cats tickets at the craft table. And don't forget, early bird tickets are now half price for the show here on July 4th. It is Hardcores versus the World and Daisy Pushers versus Bells of the Brawl. And we have a brawl going up front with Wife of Wrath jamming up against Honey Cruller. Cruller is through for your lead jammer. Wife of Wrath is a quick skip across the tail end of the apex, making their initial pass complete. And that is the end of a jam.
All right, we are going into jam number 16. That is Scream Soda number 8 for Team Divergence. Number 06, Fat Bottom Hurls for the Margarita Villains. Scream Soda with some backwards skating along the outside line takes lead for Team Divergence. Fat Bottom Hurls is going to the penalty box on a cut track penalty. This is a power jam in favor of Team Divergence. The Frenzy with a hard hit to the outside, but Scream Soda has some good balance, manages to stay in. They have Terminator to beat at the front. Former Rotten Apple Junior team teammates, they make it past Terminator, and Scream Soda is through with collecting some points. Pinky out of the penalty box and returning as blocker for Team Divergence. That's Fat Bottom Hurls out of the penalty box, making quick contact with Tuffy at the back of the pack as Scream Soda skates through with lead. I see some cupcakes going around. $1 a piece for cupcakes. Fat Bottom Hurls is through on an initial pass. Scream Soda has collected another 4 points. Direction of gameplay penalty has been assessed to the Frenzy. Pack is tight at turn 1. Fat Bottom Hurls moves to the outside, draws the pack backward a bit as Scream Soda comes in. Once again, Scream with Terminator to beat at turn 2, through with 4 points for Team Divergence. Fat Bottom Hurls at the back of the pack. Tuffy anchoring a tripod. Scream Soda through. This time Terminator completes the hit to the outside. Scream Soda doesn't want to do that anymore. Calls the jam as Hurls makes it through with 4 points for the Villains. Team Divergence 20 points on that jam.
So there's only an 8-point spread right now. It is literally anybody's game with just over 5 minutes left. Margarita Villains at 122, a Team Divergence at 114. And it looks like we have an official timeout. As debris on the track. That would be your debris caution. And as the late joining Lank the Tank, now jamming for Divergence, up against the Cunning Linguist. And Lingo breaks through, becomes your lead jammer. Lingo skates right on through for their first scoring pass, picking up 4 points for the Margarita Villains. Meanwhile, Lank's mired in the pack with a strong Villains defense. This Lank up against Wife of Wrath and the Frenzy up front. Meanwhile, Lingo is mired in the back of the pack, up against a Divergent wall. Lank is now through, but is denied any points as Lingo calls off the jam.
Support roller derby while watching baseball. Discounted Harbor Cats tickets are available at the craft table. We have ourselves an official timeout. I'm also going to let you guys know that if you have some empties, some refundable empties at home that you would like to donate to folks in sport, the Youth of Destruction charter team is having a bottle drive on July 5th at the Glanford Bottle Depot. I see Florence the Machine walking around holding up a sign reminding you that hot dogs, cupcakes, etc. are now $1 at the kiosk outside the door.
The hot dogs are $1 too?
Oh, I just see you're holding $1. I might have just lied. We know the cupcakes are $1.
Well,
we see a volunteer dancing around at turn 2 there with the cupcakes. (2-7) Honey Cruller for Team Divergence facing off against 0-6 Fat Bottom Hurls. Honey Cruller manages to blast through at turn 1. That is lead for Team Divergence. That's number 525, Pepto Bismol, taking a seat in the zone at 91-3 penalty box as Fat Bottom Hurls completes an initial pass. Pack speeds up, trying to get ahead of those jammers. That's Fanny in the pack with a hit to the outside, calls the jam off. Honey calls the jam off from the ground. 1 point to Honey Cruller and Team Divergence. 2 points to Fat Bottom Hurls for the Margarita Villains.
It is now Tuffy up against the Frenzy. So slow start to the jam. The Frenzy makes their way to the front of the pack. This is Frenzy's first time starting as a jammer, slipping around the Divergence defense and picking up lead jammer. Meanwhile, Wife of Wrath making sure that Tuffy is not able to complete their initial pass. Tuffy now recycled to the back of the pack by the Wife of Wrath. Meanwhile, up front, the Frenzy is working against that divergent wall. It's a late attempt by Scream Soda for a block, but the Frenzy is through for their scoring pass, picking up 4 points for the Margarita Villains. Meanwhile, it is now, it looks to be a star pass for Legs Benedict. Legs Benedict is now your jammer for Team Divergence, and the Frenzy picks up another 4 points. The Frenzy calls off the jam before Legs can score any points for Team Divergence.
The Eves of Destruction wish to thank all of the outstanding sponsors that fund the gameplay you enjoy. Help keep us rolling through 2026. Contact us at eavesofdestructionsponsorship@gmail.com. Honey Crueler and Cunning Linguist. Honey with some defensive jamming at the beginning there. Hits Lingo to the inside. Length, the tank, sees that happen and does the drawback. That takes Lingo way to the back of the pack and leaves space open for Honey to get through with lead for Team Divergence. Jerry Can heads to the zone at 91.3 penalty box. Cunning Linguist is in rear position right now. Has to make it past their own blocker and does that. Initial pass completed for Lingo. Honey hit to the inside. Ends that scoring pass with a tap to the hips. Collects 3 points along the way.
Beginning what could potentially be the final jam of the game. It is Fat Bottom Hurls up against Aska Jam. Hurls to the front, slips through. Is not your lead jammer. No pass, no penalty, but does not pick up lead. Did not complete a full pass of all the blockers on track. Aska Jam being recycled to the back of the pack as Hurls comes up through. Hurls working up against the Divergent front wall. But it is Aska Jam that sneaks through, picks up 4 points for Team Divergence. Meanwhile, Hurls to the back of the pack. It is Aska Jam now up front, being blocked by Carry Me to Hell as they call off the jam, making this game unofficial at 143 for Margarita Villains and 122 for Team Divergence. 146 to 124. I shouldn't have rushed that.
All right, folks, feel free to come up to the track and congratulate your skaters. I will join you in the middle with our MVPs shortly. All right, I have your MVPs ready. Team Divergence, your MVP blocker, 8'9" length the tank. Margarita Villains, your MVP blocker, 4 Terminator. Team Divergence, your MVP jammer, 2'7" Honey Cruller. Margarita Villains, your MVP jammer, 7'6" the Cunning Linguist. Team Divergence, your Team Spirit Award goes to 1'6" Azka Jam. Margarita Villains, your Team Spirit Award goes to 5'9" Artemis Prime. All right, folks, you can join us back here in 4 weeks' time, July the 4th. The hardcores face off against the world at 5:30 p.m. 7:30 p.m. we have the Daisy Pushers and the Bells of the Brawl. We'll see you then. For anybody helping tear up the track, please don't take the pink tape off of the floor. The rope can go. The pink tape has to stay. No tape. I've been corrected. What I read earlier in the day is false. No tape comes off whatsoever. Leave all the tape. Go home happy. Put away chairs.